Progress is non-linear. By this, I mean that learning anything, and primarily code in what we're going to be talking about, simply is not something that is consistent and always going up, you know? Like, it's not like one week we go up by 10%, like we improve by 10%, and then the next week we improve by another 10%. And it's not like it's a constant line up. In reality, learning anything, and more specifically something like code, is up and down, up and down. Maybe one week you learn JavaScript and you're like a bit happy and you learn some, but maybe you might go 1 or 2 weeks where you struggle and you don't really learn much. And it's this constant loop of learning something and not being able to know something and learning something and so on and so forth. And I feel like this isn't really talked about in our space. You know, we like to think that progress is this constant loop and constant improvement, when in reality, coding is fucking difficult and we're not really gonna see results all the time. I was just going through this, which is in part why I'm making this video. Like, I'll be honest, I'm about a year into code and I still struggle with very basic things. I know that's, we're told that that's fine, but it hurts the ego, man. It really hurts the ego. And it's annoying when you're learning something and you think you know it, but you struggle to implement it. And while I was going through this, it hurt because I thought I knew it. And because I didn't see progress, I was honestly a little depressed that I didn't know it. After, obviously sitting and taking like a break off coding, I knew that I'm fine. But just not being told and actually knowing that it's a constant progress. I'll even put something on the screen. Like, coding is like that. And we have to think of it like that, or else we're just fucking lying to ourselves that coding is going to be constantly going up and up. Instead, we're better off thinking of code as something that takes time, that takes a lot of effort, and that we're going to go through shit. We're going to struggle with a concept. We're not going to see results for 2 months. We're not going to get JavaScript, And once we expect that and we understand that, then we'll be able to see the results that we want to see. And I think by understanding that obviously we're going to struggle with things and that progress isn't just linear, but instead it's all over the place, it will ease our pain. And actually, I learned that in a book called Atomic Habits. I don't know if you guys know it, but it's this really good book by James Clear. He essentially talks about this, like progress not only is up and down, but it takes time to compound. A lot of new coders quit, and they quit so early on that it's no shit they didn't see results. Like, no shit you're not going to see results in coding in the first 3 months or 4 months. Obviously, because you haven't really done much. However, if you're like a year or 6 or 7 months in, if you constantly worked on your craft, all those days of suffering, all those days of studying are compounded over time. So by this, I mean, right? Your first month, right? Maybe you learn HTML. You're not really going to do much with HTML. And it's maybe basic HTML, maybe you can write text, but you're not really going to see a crazy growth with your code from that. Maybe the next month you learn CSS, right? And with CSS, you can like kind of design a website, but you still don't really have like a well-rounded skill. And you're like, fuck, at this point, a lot of people quit because maybe they suck at CSS and they're a little bad at HTML, so they end up quitting. However, right, maybe you're like 6 or 7 months in, and after all the lessons, all the skills you acquire throughout the way, all build up into making a full stack app or building a true application. And people quit before that because it's difficult because they didn't see the results. But to get to that end point, to get to that maybe making a full stack app or making like a really, really good application, you had to go through HTML. You had to suck at CSS to improve at it. And it all came because you just constantly honed in your craft. You constantly improved and you embraced the harder periods to get to that result. And it's really upsetting that not many people, or not a lot of people quit, because it's an amazing feeling to be good at code and to not be good, but not suck as much at code. Like, I still remember earlier on, I used to struggle with like making tables, and to see now me making like actual applications and documenting it on YouTube, it's surreal, because I still remember the days, where I was so happy I made like a pink background with CSS. I was so happy that I did that. And it sucks now because like obviously it's a pink background. Who cares? But to me, it was a big deal, and I'm honestly just so happy that I stuck through it. And I hope that you watching this, you understand that it takes time and that it's constantly up and down. Progress is up and down, and that you just constantly show up, you constantly work, you will improve eventually. That's what I'm trying to say. But this doesn't get views, this doesn't get money, this doesn't get the attention because it's not the ultimate study hack. It's not one of those videos where they promise you 5 languages that will make you 100,000 by 2024. Like, it's not one of these videos, and that's why it's not going to sell. But it's just me sharing a lesson that I've learned from code, and a very valuable lesson at that. And just sticking by that and just understanding the process, you kind of embrace the toughness, Like if I ran into these issues a while ago, where I'm struggling at basic stuff, I would have quit if I didn't understand that it's normal to be that way and it's normal to embrace it. So I really hope, even if one person watches this, like, it'd make my day. It's tough out there, so I get it, but just keep going. Coding is the best shit in the world, and enjoy it while you can. So anyways, I'm gonna end the video here. If you want some coaching or get some closer advice, you want me to run through your code, or you want to learn something in specific, then I'll leave that in the description below. No pressure though, you don't have to, but it would really support the channel. And if you want the free roadmap, that will also be in the description below, where there's like everything with like what you need to learn code and like everything I did to learn code. And the guides are coming soon, okay? Like the startup that we're working on, the full guide will be coming out soon, so you can check it out in a bit. I don't know, but maybe when you're watching this video. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you so much for watching. Happy coding, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.